You know that feeling where you're excited about everything, but at the same time also kind of paralyzed by it? One minute you're researching how to start a fashion brand. The next, you're deep in a YouTube rabbit hole on film scoring. By the end of the week, you've got 6 new tabs open, 12 unfinished notes in your phone, and 0 actual progress on anything. Sound familiar? It's like our brains are spinning this wheel of ideas, but instead of moving forward, we just spin. And in a world that loves specialists, the people who go all in on one thing, it can make you feel like you're doing everything wrong, like you're not serious, or worse, that you're not good enough. But here's the truth. The desire to explore many different things isn't a flaw. It's curiosity. It's creativity. It's how some of the most innovative people have always operated. But if you don't have that little bit of structure, it will totally backfire. We end up scattered, overwhelmed, and honestly kind of burnt out. Not from doing too much, but from starting too much and never following any of them through. So today I'm gonna tell you how to fix that. Chapter 1. Follow the signs of obsession. Let me ask you something. What's that one thing that you can't stop thinking about? The one that you always come back to, even when you try your best to push it aside. For me, it was art. Almost any form of art. I used to watch oil painting videos the way people binge Netflix. I was immersed in animations, learning how to draw different characters. And I was so enthralled by fashion, even keeping such old sketchbooks just filled with my past designs. As someone who grew up in an Asian household in an Asian country, pursuing a career in art is almost unheard of, but I'm very grateful to my parents and my family for being super supportive of my passion and my dreams, and I'm super grateful to have been able to eventually pursue a degree in animation art when I was in college. Because eventually I realized maybe this obsession isn't random. It's a sign. So here's a quick exercise. If you cleared your calendar completely, no job, no obligations, what would your brain naturally gravitate towards? What do you wish you had more time for? That's not just interest, that's direction. And if you're still unsure, another trick is this. Ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? What do you hope people say when they introduce you? Oh, that's Jolene, the one who's constantly pursuing her artistic passions. Start there. You don't need to pick your forever thing, just your next thing. Chapter 2. One passion at a time per season. Here's a hard truth I had to learn the messy way. You can do a lot, but you can't do it all at once. And that's where focus comes in. Think of your life in seasons. There's a season for learning the piano, a season for starting a YouTube, a season for writing that novel. Trying to do all 3 at once? Recipe for burnout. Now you can absolutely build yourself and your focus up to the point where you can eventually do all 3 at once. For example, learning the piano, creating YouTube videos, and writing a novel all is part of your weekly routine. But starting all 3 at the same time, it's like trying to water 10 plants with 1 teacup. Everything just stays thirsty, especially because I'm sure most of you watching already have lives outside of your pursuits. Be it your lives or your habits that need taking care of or to be nurtured. Most of you probably have work, school, family, or other obligations that you have already committed yourselves to, that you can't just totally abandon. So if you don't have the foundation to actually work on something and nail down its foundation, before moving on to the next shiny object and just trying to build on this shaky foundation, you will most likely give up before you even see results. Instead, try this. Pick 1 or 2 priorities for this season of your life. Not forever, just for now, and give them your best focus. You will make actual progress, which fuels motivation, which creates momentum. And momentum is magic. Chapter 3. Sacrifice and joy are part of the deal. Here's where it gets real. Every hour you're giving to one thing, you're taking from another. That's not negativity, it's just math. Time is finite. You can dabble in everything, but if you want real growth, you have to choose. And choosing means sacrificing. For example, I love drawing recreationally and just drawing for myself. It's a way I can de-stress and actually let my thoughts just run loose and run wild. Back when I was in art school, there will be times where we can just sit around in a circle for hours and just draw the model that's in front of us. Or we can even sit outside by the busy roads and just people watch and draw architecture, draw people walking around, just basically drawing anything we found intriguing. But right now, trying to build this channel and my brand is my #1 priority. So I just don't have the luxury of time to just always be sitting around for 3 to 4 hours and just drawing without a purpose, I would say. So instead of just not drawing ever and giving up my passion, I channeled my drawing skills into building my brand. In specific, my fashion brand. So wherever you see all the sketches, all the drawings, all the designs are 100% done by me. They were drawn by me, conceptualized by me, and designed by me. Is it the exact same as drawing for myself and being 100% stress-free? Of course not, because now my drawings have to actually be accurate with very little wiggle room for mistakes. But having a perfect balance is never the goal, because perfection does not exist. Instead, I'm looking for ways where my passion and interests align so that I can make the biggest impact while enjoying and putting my talents to good use. You don't have to give up on everything else. You just have to be clear on what's the most important right now. One thing that helped me massively was to make a personal hierarchy. I sat down and made a messy list of all the passions or pursuits that I wanted to prioritize and started to ask myself, which one of these could I not live without? What actually moves the needle in my life? What just makes me feel productive? When you rank your priorities like this, it gets so much easier to stop wasting time on distractions that are just pretending to be passions. Chapter 4. Your brain being different, that's a superpower. Different doesn't mean wrong. If you ever felt like your brain doesn't fit into society's neat little box, say, growing up in an Asian country and household from a very young age, literally everyone's parents were in finance, doctors, lawyers, so much so that was literally what I thought were the only options I had. I remember being told that I had to pick a lane very early on. Doctor, lawyer, engineer, architect. One clear path that I had to work towards my entire life for. But I was never the best in school. I started out decent, actually really good. But when it came down to it, the results just did not show. And I was stuck like this for literally years because I just couldn't figure out that this main conventional path was just not for everyone and not for me. When you grow up in that environment and seeing everyone else doing very well and excelling at this one mainstream path, it's very hard for you to think that maybe I'm not the problem, you know? Maybe it's everyone else that kind of gets it and then I just don't, like I'm not good enough. And that led to a lot of dark years. My health suffered both mentally and physically, and it took me about 2 whole years to recover. The truth is, some of us are just wired differently. We like seeing how things connect. We want to zoom out and build bridges between ideas. That's not a bug. That's just a feature. Think about it. Reading helps your storytelling, coding teaches you logic, painting sharpens your attention to detail. It all feeds into one another. Multi-passionate people don't just stack skills, we combine them, and that's where innovation happens. Your wiring isn't a flaw, it's your greatest strength once you know how to use it. Chapter 5. Mastery equals momentum. Okay, now let's talk about the more grindy part, which is mastery. Here's what no one tells you about picking up a new skill. It starts fun, then it gets boring, then it gets magical. Every hobby goes through the same cycle. The honeymoon phase, where you're hyped, excited, googling things and gears, to the valley. This is where you realize that whatever you're doing is actually hard. Your progress just plateaus and you wonder if you even like doing this in the first place. And 3 is the point of no return, where you stick with it long enough to unlock creativity. And that's when it starts to get fun again. That dip or that valley, that's where most people give up. And that's exactly why mastery feels so good, because you have pushed past the level of discomfort and because you have proven to yourself that you can. Also, progress is addictive. There is actual science behind this. Every time you see improvement, whether it's drawing a better eye, hitting a chord cleanly, or editing a smoother video, you literally get a hit of dopamine. Not from doing the thing, but from getting better at it. That's why mastery fuels motivation, not the other way round. Chapter 6. Confidence compounds. It's not what most people think it is. Confidence doesn't come from being naturally good. It comes from evidence. Like, I've done hard things before, that's why I know I can do this. That's the real confidence snowball. You start with one thing, maybe the guitar. You learn to stick with it through the valley. Then, next time you try something new, like the piano, or kickboxing, or learning Japanese, you would have already known the rhythm. You just show up, keep going, and you trust the process. Each win builds on the last. You become the kind of person that can figure things out. And honestly, that's way more powerful than just being talented. Chapter 7. Let some things wait or go. Here's something that took me way too long to accept. You don't have to do everything right now. We treat time like it's running out. Like if we don't start this new hobby or this new business or that new idea or that podcast today, then we'll lose this chance forever. But most of us statistically have decades left to live. There will be time. And if there isn't, you wouldn't want to spend your last days juggling 8 half-done projects anyway. So let some things wait or let them go. Not every interest needs to become a career. Not every spark needs to become a fire. Some things are allowed to be fun, or fleeting, or not for now. And guess what? When you come back to them later, you bring more depth, more discipline, more focus than if you were to force yourself right now. Chapter 8. Slower growth is still growth. It's so easy to look at other people, especially those who have picked one path early and just feel so behind. Like, wow, they're already an expert at 24 and I'm over here bouncing between 3 different careers like some inexperienced baby. But you know what you're building? Range. You're developing resilience, adaptability, pattern recognition, skills that compound in the background and create long-term momentum. Your growth might not look linear, but it's layered. And when it all clicks, you will have a perspective that specialists can't replicate because you would have lived in many more worlds. You've seen more angles, and that's not failure, that's foundation. If that all sounds like a lot, good, it kind of is. But you don't have to figure it all out today. You might need to scale down on your goals, or just detox from social media, or quit a few things to make room for those that actually matter. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Progress takes time, confidence takes evidence. Focus takes effort, and sometimes you just need a nap. So be kind to yourself. You're not behind anything or anyone. You're just building. And one day, the version of you that's thriving across multiple passions, who's confident, creative, calm, is going to look back at the version of you who's trying and be so proud that you didn't give up. So if you're multi-passionate and is someone with big goals and is so ambitious, and who might be a little overwhelmed right now, here's what I hope you remember. You're not broken, you're just built for more. But more doesn't necessarily mean all at once. It means thoughtful cycles of growth, joy, focus, and rest. Learn deeply and let go gracefully. Master slowly, play often, and always follow your curiosity. Because this path, it's yours to design. And if you feel just so overwhelmed and not knowing where to start, it's okay, press pause. You can come back to this video whenever you need it. It will always be here to find you. I promise your journey is going to be beautiful. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You can let me know where you are in your journey. I would love to cheer you on. Until next time, take care of your heart, your mind, and your dreams. I'll see you in the next video very soon.